Yes. Am I audible? One second, let me just check once. Yeah, I'm audible, right? Okay. Okay, so the topic for today is branches of biology. Okay, so we will have a look at the different types of different types of organisms we are studying. That is again living organisms in biology. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I'm an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. So join with us in Telegram for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE Class 9 Biology, Class 9 and 10 Biology it is, okay. And Unacademy, ICSE and ISC both. So this link you will find in the description box, okay. Alright. So special classes you can learn from your favorite educator for free. Engage with educator via polls. Clear your doubts in your live special classes. So there is a separate question tab where you can clear your doubts. So you can type in your question, attach an image and send it to the educator during a live class and they'll be clearing your doubt. So for the top special classes you can visit the link in the description. Unacademy subscription features. So basically you can learn live from the comfort of your home, unlimited access to all the courses. Top educators of India are going to take the classes in one platform, that is Unacademy platform. Then there is regular doubt clearing or answer writing session. So this is basically after about every 3 sessions, the fourth session which will be there, so that is a doubt clearing session. So any doubts you have related to the topics that are previously covered, so those doubts can be cleared in this doubt clearing session. Then complete syllabus coverage, mentorship and guidance will be given, study material is given, practice test series, live test series, batch courses. So depending on your preference, you can either go for English batch, Hindi batch or a English batch. Okay, so you will have access to all the batches once you take the subscription. Then there is daily practice section, weekly mock test series, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series. Okay, and moving on to the Unacademy plus subscription pricing. So this is my referral code VANIYT. Okay, so with this referral code you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. Now for class 9, so minimum you can try with 6 months, like if you want to know like how exactly this works, so you can go with the 6 months of subscription. Okay, and so those who are entering class 9 now, so you can also go for 12 months of subscription, and with the referral code you will be getting 10% discount. So let's have a look at the branches of biology. Yes, what all branches are there? So there are, okay. So what is that branch we are talking about? So biology is divided into several branches. So what are those several branches? So basically we will be studying about the plants, we will be studying about the animals, we are studying about the human specifically. Any idea like exactly we study about humans separately? Because these are well developed. Okay, so when we think of a human or when we compare a human to other animals, human is much more developed. Okay, so there is a lot of development in the technology, so that is mainly because of a human. Okay, in that case we will be studying the relationship of a man with other organisms. Okay, so that is how he is treating other animals, other plants. So whether whether the ecology, that is a balance of the in the sense, I'll just give you an example now. Okay, so now with respect to an example that we have to mention, so now if we are talking about a human alone, okay, so in this case we are throwing a plastic here and there. Okay, so what about other animals? So they do not spoil our nature. So human. So now what is the way that we are treating? Okay, so human behavior, how his adjustment with the other animals, whether he's treating the environment properly or not, so all that will be looked at. Okay, so now study of a man as a living organism, his relationship with other living organism. So study of man and human society. Now among the humans itself, what is the behavior? Okay, so behavioral study, that is with respect to physically, so all the behavioral study will be done. So that comes under the anthropology, which is a part of a human biology itself. Okay, so anthropos meaning here is man, logos is study. So you can see an animal there, there is a plant. Okay, so whenever one is studying a plant, so now this is a plant, so whenever a study of a plant is done, so that we call as a botany. Okay, so when a study of an animal is done, so that is called as a zoology. Okay, as the name itself suggests, zoo is animal, logy is study. Okay, so now human biology is basically we will be studying the organism, human, his development in the brain and other things. Okay, so let's have the look at other branches. So in terms of special groups of organisms, so now there are certain group of organisms that you find. So that is bacteriology, then there is virology is present, and the name itself suggests. So what is this actually? Any of you has any idea what is this part or what is this part? So these are living organisms or whether these are non-living organisms? Yes, any guesses you can make? What is this and what is this? So you have come across this one a lot of time on TVs during this pandemic now. So in terms of special groups of organisms, okay, so now bacteriology, the name itself suggests again a bacteria. Okay, so the bacteria is being studied. So what type of bacteria? Now this one is actually bacteria. Okay, so what type of bacteria it is, whether it is a spherical. So if it is spherical, what do we call? So that is called as a coccus. Okay, so whether it is rod shaped, so if it is rod shaped, what is it called? So it is a bacillus. Okay, so now depending on the structural or shape we can say, so depending on a shape, so we will be naming them. So now if this is the shape, what do we call it? So that we call as a vibrio. So the cholera that is caused by vibrio cholerae, so that shape of that bacteria is comma in shape. Okay, so vibrium also we can mention. Then spirillum, so there is one more, so that is a spiral one. Okay, so in that case it is a spirillum. Okay, so we will be studying each and every detail about a bacteria under a bacteriology. So now this one what you see here, so this is just a coccus. Okay, so if they are present in chains as such. Okay, so now you can see a chain here. So this is streptococci. Okay, so this one is streptococci. Just a second. Okay, so now when you see these cocci in clusters, okay, so whenever you see a cocci in clusters, so that we call as a staphylococci. On their structure, okay, and their arrangement and their shape, there is a variation that we can see. So now this one is a staphylococci. So what is now a virology? So again the name itself suggests viro is basically virus itself. Okay, so study of a virus, so that is the study of a virus when it is done. So now you can see this can be COVID itself or maybe HIV. So depending on type of the antigen that is present on the surface, so we can differentiate between the viruses. So now this is a virus, and virus whether it is living, okay, or whether it is non-living. Any of you has any idea? Virus is living or non-living? No idea about this? Second. Okay, So now virus, when we mention, so this is, when it is present, so that is when it is, when it has entered a host, so in that case it is actually living. Okay, and when it is in the environment, so that behaves as a non-living. So in the environment it behaves as a non-living, or otherwise in the host, once it enters the host, it will take over the mechanism of a host and it will start behaving as a living. So this one is entering the host and then it will start to live. That means it will take over the mechanism. Now mycology, as the name itself suggests, okay, so myco is for fungi, okay, logy is study, so fungal study of a fungi when it is done, so that is called as a mycology. Entomology, so when we study insects, okay, so different insects you will see. So there are in arthropoda, if you remember, okay, so there are arthropoda category, that is basically joint footed or joint feeted animals, we call them, right? So this is joint feeted animals. So in them you will see different categories. So there is the arachnida, okay, so under which again comes the spider, then scorpion can be there. So different entomos, different insects you will see, which are basically joint legged animals or joint footed animals, which we call. So that is a arthropoda. Okay, why fungus is called a fungi? So fungus is a singular, fungi is plural. So now we have for coccus, okay, now this is a coccus, okay, so coccus is spherical bacteria. If it is many, if many are there, so then it is cocci, okay. So same way bacillus is them, that is singular. Bacilli, we can also call it as a bacilli when they are present in a group. So same way fungus is singular, fungi is many in number, so we can find many fungi. So basically in general study of a fungi and in detail study of this one. So if somebody discovers a different type of a insect, then its characteristic study has to be done, and based on that it will be placed in a respective category. So now ichthyology, study of fishes, whether this fish is made up of cartilage, okay, so whether it is made up of a cartilage, whether this fish is made up of a bone. So each and every study, and whether this is gill, so gill which is present, so whether this gill is covered, okay, so we will be looking at that, or whether it is not covered, okay, so that also we will be looking at. So cartilage or a bone, covered or non-covered. So different each and every detail with respect to ichthyology, that is fishes, will be studied here. And different types of fin, so fin arrangement and the body scales, so depending on how the scales are arranged, so every details are studied in ichthyology. Now moving on to herpetology, so it is the study of lizard or a snake, okay. So now when we mention about a lizard or a snake, so under lizard category you can find many different organisms. So again under snake category you will find different organisms. So all those are studied in detail. So here this comes under a lizard now. So this organism what you see, okay, so this comes under a lizard, I mean lizard category. So same way there are different categories where you will be studying them in detail. So lizard, snake, so that is for a herpetology. Then ornithology, so what is that ornithology? Now whether the birds, whether they can fly, okay, so some are aquatic birds, okay, so some you will find flying in the sky. So depending on that again what is the organ which is providing a buoyancy, okay, so that will be looked, okay. So each and every detail. So what about the animals? So let's talk about a bird itself. Now if I'm saying that the bird is present, so in case of bird we will be looking, so for let's say if it is a aquatic one, so what exactly is present? It is not getting wet and it is always dry, even though it is in a water condition. So degradation is not occurring. So in that case, there we can find oil glands. Okay, so these oil glands are keeping this one dry, keeping this animal or a bird dry. So same way, so what is the reason or what type of organ is present? The organ, if we are mentioning, so let's say bone. Okay, so bone in case of birds is pneumatic bone. Okay, so what exactly is pneumatic bone? So that means a hollow bone can be there. So because hollow bone is present, so bones are lightweighted and easily they can flow. So that is one thing. And the one which can provide you so that is in case of aquatic animals, so which is the one that is providing a buoyancy. Okay, so each and every detail will be studied here. That is in case of ornithology or any other branches. So now moving on to the in terms of approach on studying it. So now you could see here this one. So this was in terms of special groups of organism. Okay, so special group of organisms, what are there? So bacteria, virus, fungi, insect, fishes, snakes, lizards, and a bird. Okay, so all these come under the special group of organisms. So this can be asked in your question, in your exam. Okay, so question that they can ask, what are those special group of organism, and mention the different branches. Or if they are asking about this one, so they can ask, so in terms of approach. Okay, so in terms of approach on studying, so whatever branches you saw, so for all that the study has to be done. So what that study you are going to do? So that is anatomy, then there is morphology, histology. Okay, just a second. All right, so now in this case, when we mention, so anatomy, when you mention, internal study is done. Okay, so this is only after the dissection. Okay, so you cut open the cockroach. So let's say you cut open cockroach and then you study its features. Okay, so how the digestive system is present, or how respiratory system is present. Okay, so you will be studying each and everything in detail. So that is in anatomy, that is by dissecting. Okay, so without dissecting, if you are just looking, so that can come under a morphology. But in anatomy it is an internal structural study, so that is only after taking a dissection. So now study of gross structure of an organism as seen in dissection. So let's say here, here you can see liver. So let's show you liver here. Okay, so now this is a liver. Okay, so now we will be taking a section of this one. We are not just studying it from the outside. Anatomy, when we mention, we are just cutting it open and we will be looking at the arrangement of cell, what type of tissues are present, whether there is blood flowing or not, whether the blood is stored or whether the blood is not stored. If we are talking about a spleen, so there is a blood is stored there. Okay, so it is a reservoir. Hi Abhishek, good evening. Yes, so now this is anatomy. So we will be cutting and then we will be observing. Now morphology, when we mention, now this is a human. Okay, so this is the outline part. Okay, so we are not making any changes here. So we will be studying this organs. Okay, so external organ, what is that external organ? So hand, then head, the eyes, whatever you can see, so that is externally you are studying. Okay, now internal organ also you will be studying, but you are not cutting them open. Now what is the shape of this lung? Okay, one second. Yeah, so what is the shape of the, sorry, liver. So this one is a liver now. So what is the shape of the lung? All right, so you will be looking internal organ also. You are not dissecting in morphology. Okay, so just the external study is done. So it is the study of form and structure of plants and animals, which mainly includes the understanding and interpretation of structure. So that is externally and internally. So only thing that we are doing is we are just cutting a human open. Okay, so then whatever organs are there, that we are studying. We are not cutting all the organs. Okay, so if we are cutting all the organ and studying, so that is called as anatomy. Here we are just cutting open the organism, or maybe a scan can also be done. But with scan and we don't have a proper idea. So in that case, cut up open a human or maybe a plant, and what type of organ that you see there, so that will be studied. So that is internal as well as external. So now this is a external. Here you can see a trachea, then you can see a heart over here you can see a liver. Okay, so then on the back side you can see a kidney there. Okay, so this is just internal organ we are studying without dissecting them, so that is a morphology. Okay, anatomy is after the dissection, so this is a highlight. Next, histology. What exactly is histology now? Okay, so now study of minute structure of tiny bits. Let's say you eat something hot. Okay, so whenever you eat something hot, okay, so layer of your skin, so that might be from your mouth. Okay, so layer of a skin from mouth gets out. Okay, so when you suddenly eat it, so let's say you are eating a pizza or something. Okay, so that is a too hot one, so this layer from your mouth, it will get separated. Okay, so now that is just one layer that we are looking at, it is not just one cell. Okay, so you can find many tissues, I mean many cells which are arranged. Okay, so now these are many cells that are arranged, and now we call this as a tissue. Okay, so now study of minute structure of tiny bits of a body. So let's say you are cutting open a skin. Okay, so you are taking a patch of a skin, or maybe you are taking a patch from your mouth, or maybe from your nose, anywhere. Okay, so basically when you study that in detail, how the arrangement is done, what is the content, whether there is a intercellular space present or not. So here you cannot find a intercellular space, so each and every detail of different organs and the part of it we will be studying. So that is a study of minute structure of tiny bits of the body as seen with the help of a compound microscope. So this we cannot see as it is, so we require a help of a microscope. So only with the help of a microscope a study can be done. Okay, because these are all minute structures, so you cannot see a single cell. Even if you want to observe a microorganism, that is a bacteria. Okay, so in those cases what will happen, so you cannot see that, so you need a simple microscope or maybe a compound microscope just to see a movement. Again, you cannot study it in detail, but if you have to study it in detail, so in that case you require a electron microscope. Okay, so let's get to the next point, so that is cytology. So what exactly is cytology here? So now the study of structure and function of animal and plant cells. Okay, so animal and plant cells are studied. Okay, so it is not just animal and plant cell again, so bacteria if we mention, so any kingdom. Okay, any kingdom in general. So when we are studying in Monera, you can find a bacteria, so we can also consider a bacteria. Okay, so in kingdom fungi you will find a fungus. Okay, so that is a mucus, so that also you are studying. In kingdom protista you can find a amoeba. Okay, so these are all single celled organism. Okay, so single cell, so basically you are studying a organism that is based on its cell. Okay, so you will be studying a cell here, so plant or an animal cell they have mentioned, but any cell from a living organism, when it is studied in detail, so that comes under the cytology. As the name itself suggests, cyto is cell. Okay, so cyto meaning here is cell, and logy as usual it is study. Okay, now physiology. What exactly is physiology? Anybody has any idea about this one? Physiology, so study of functions and activities of organisms. Okay, and their parts. So we will be looking at different organisms. Okay, and then we will just examine them. Okay, so how exactly the arrangement of this organ, and how exactly their interaction is occurring. Okay, so study of function and activities of the organism. So now let's say a hand is present. So now when I mention a hand is present, so there is a movement that is occurring. So what is that particular thing which is making this hand to move in this direction? Okay, so I'm moving my head now. Okay, so which is that part, or which is that tissue or a muscle which is making muscle itself, it is a muscular tissue, so making it move in a particular direction. So now whenever we are talking about a physiology, function associated with different organs, okay, and activity of an organism and their part is studied, so that is a physiology. Okay, now embryology. So what exactly is embryology? So study of formation and development of an embryo, that is in case of plants as well as animal. Okay, so now in plant also there is a embryo development, not like a child, but if you cut open, you can just take a groundnut seed. Okay, so peanut seed you can take. Okay, and try to separate that cotyledon. Okay, so you will try to separate the cotyledon. So from peanut, when you separate it, or maybe from a pea itself. Okay, so now you will separate this one, so you can find an embryo there. Okay, so this one, what you see, so this one is an embryo which you can see in case of plant. Okay, so now this, what you see, this is a peanut. Okay, so this part, if you are putting it in soil, okay, so there is, along with the seed cotyledon, of course, because cotyledon is required for the nourishment. Okay, so for the developing embryo, nourishment is required, and when you insert this seed, peanut seed, into the soil, so there is a plant that is going to grow. What will happen? So basically coleoptile and coleorhiza, or the radicle and plumule. So we will just see this one. So this is a radicle now, and there is a plumule. So when you put it in a soil, so this can be seen. Okay, so that can happen only when an embryo is intact and it is well formed. Okay, so embryo of a plant, and now this is an embryo of an animal. Okay, so in animals you will find the embryo. So what is this? I mean embryo does, or how exactly this is growing. So this animal, or whenever we are talking, so there are certain organisms which are mainly mention about viviparous organism. So they are growing in a mother's womb. Okay, and the nourishment to them, the nourishment to the developing embryo, it is given from the mother. Okay, so from the mother it is taking a nourishment. Here you can see that the seed is there, cotyledon is there. Cotyledon is the one that is providing a nourishment, so it is gonna vary. Okay, that is with respect to different organism. So how exactly formation? So first month. Okay, so let's say in 9 months of pregnancy. Okay, so we'll just see this. So in 9 months of pregnancy, what are the changes that can happen? Okay, so now when we mention about that, so you can find, so there are first month, so there is a heart development can be there. Okay, so by the third month it is actually. Okay, so when you scan it, so there is complete development of a heart. Then if you are going for the fifth month, okay, so in fifth month you can see a tiny, okay, so tiny hair called as lanugo, but I'll just write it as hair development you can see in an embryo. Okay, so same way there is a limb formation. Then you can also see a head formation. So each and everything will go on completing, so that is within a period of 9 months. Okay, so first organ, the development when we mention, so by the third month, or it is basically in the first month itself, the heart formation can be done. That is why the circulation is occurring. So embryology is that. Then there is taxonomy. So what exactly is taxonomy? So let's see, you discover a new organism. 1 second. Okay, so taxonomy, when we mention, so you discover a new organism. Okay, so now when you discover a new organism, you need to study that in detail. Okay, so what exactly is the study? So you will be observing an organism. Okay, and you will be naming it based on its characteristic. Okay, so grouping and classifying plants and animals. So now you want to know, so once you discover an organism, you want to know whether this belongs to Monera, whether this belongs to Protista, whether this belongs to fungi, or this belongs to plantae or animalia. Okay, so you will be looking at all this, and you will be studying them in detail. Okay, so that is discover new organism. So now with respect to ecology, okay, So, study of the relationship of an organism to both its living and non-living environment. So, this is with respect to relationship of an organisms to both. Now, a human is a living organism. Okay. So, let's talk about a human, or maybe we can consider. So, now these are all living organisms. Okay. So, that is animalia, plantae, then there is fungi, then you can see a protista here, then monera. Okay. So, all these are living organisms. So, how well are they adjusted in this environment, that is, in non-living? So, how well they are adjusted to this environment? So, whether, whether they are surviving in this waters, like, how well they are adjusted in the water, how well they are adjusted onto the rock, how well they are adjusted onto the mountain regions. It is with respect to living as well as a non-living. So it is the relationship that we will be studying. So if I'm taking an example of a man itself, okay, so how well a man is treating this planet Earth, so that can also be considered. Whether he is maintaining the good quality of the same Earth what was there previously. So all that comes under the ecology. Now moving on to biogeography. So study of geographical distribution of plants and animals. Okay. So now when we mention study of geographical distribution, so in this case, let's have a look. So you can find a different territories. So basically, you can find a terrestrial condition, you can find a aquatic condition, then there is desert area. Okay, 1 second, I'll just erase this. Okay, so now under this you can come across many different categories. Okay, so there might be aquatic condition, then there is hilly region. So different organisms that are living in this area, and different organisms that are living in this area, or it can be with respect to desert also. So we will be looking at the different condition and how their body has developed or adjusted to this condition. Okay, so now we know the terrestrial also, that is on the land. Okay, so in all these cases arboreal also we can consider. Okay, so arboreal is basically the one which lives on on trees. Okay, so in all these cases, how well are they adapted to this particular geography, what all changes they have made in themselves. Okay, so all those changes can be considered. Okay, so what is the type of area and what is the adjustment that is made in the living organism? So that mainly we will be studying at the distribution of plant and animals in different geographic condition. Now paleontology. Okay, so there is a particular fossil. Okay, so living fossil. Okay, so that is a plant. Okay, I think the name is basically, it belongs to a class called as division called as bryophyta. Okay, so in that case it is a living fossil. So it is living, it is surviving from long time now, and we still have this. So there are no changes, there is no evolution that has occurred in it. Okay, so study of prehistoric form. Okay, so now even now we call it as a living fossil itself, because there is no change. Usually when we mention about any organism, so there will be mutation. Okay, so there will be evolution that we can see. So there is one particular plant which is there from million and millions of years also. Okay, so there is not even a single mutation, there is no evolution, so that we call as a living fossil. So now here a fossil, if we study about different dinosaurs and all, they have taken the bone material, or maybe a skin sample might be available. So all those are studied, and we will be comparing them. So how exactly we humans might be having a similarity to dinosaurs, or maybe to a monkey. So every study that can be done, so that can be done by comparing, even though the living organism might not be available. So even if the fossil is available, any part of it, okay, so even if that is available, so that is sufficient to study the evolutionary history. So that itself you will be studying here, that is the study of origin and descent of a organism. So how we are all related to different organisms, so how we were basically We were prokaryotic cell, and now we know we are all eukaryotic cell, multicellular. So first, who is the ancestor? So it will start from the single cell, that is a bacteria. Okay, so how bacteria has taken over a evolution or changes now to form a eukaryotic cell or a complete organism, that is a multicellular organism. Okay, so now genetics. Okay, so under genetics now, all right, so the science of the transmission of body characteristics. Okay, so that is both similarities and differences are seen here. Okay, now it is with respect to characteristic passage. Okay, how it is being transferred from parents to the offspring. Okay, so there is a parental gene, so one gene is coming from the father, one gene is coming from the mother, so that is basically a chromosome. Okay, so one of the chromosome we get from a father, one of the chromosome we get from a mother, so combination of chromosomes will be there. Okay, so that is from both the parental characteristics. So now when we mention or when we look at the child, okay, so we can see that there are similarities of this particular child with their parents. So that is because some part might let's say there is a eye, so eye looks like a mother, or maybe the hair looks like a father. Okay, or different things are there. So now it can vary completely depending on a type of a organism and what type of a gene is being expressed in them. Okay, so when that happens, it is basically signs of transmission of body character, both similarities as well as differences, that is from parents to the offspring. Okay, so this comes under the genetics. All right, so now my beauty and your intelligence. So this is about a story. So here it says that a young charming prostitute once approached the great so he was actually a worker. Okay, so he is a literator, Bernard Shaw. Okay, so with the proposal of marrying him, so she proposed him, okay, for marriage. Reason is what? So you can find a reason here, so that the child, whatever child they are going to produce, so they get the beautiful. So this particular child can be beautiful like her mother, and intelligent like his father. Okay, but Shah retorted saying that what it happened the reverse way. Okay, so there is a chance, we cannot always say that the beauty comes from a mother and intelligence comes from the father. So it is not like that. Okay, so anything can happen. So beauty can come from father and intelligence can come from mother too. So it is nothing like that. So now what he said, that he retorted saying that, okay, so what if his appearance and her brain, so in that case what would be the condition? So this is just one of the aspects of genetics. It is not, we cannot say that this property is going to come from this and this property is going to come from this. So it is completely depending on the expressible character, which is dominant gene. So if a mother's gene is dominant, mother's characteristics can be seen. If a father's gene is dominant, father's characteristics can be seen. Okay, so now parasitology. So what is that parasitology? So study of parasites, that is the organism that live on or inside other organism. So parasites when we mention, so you can see, okay, so now this is living on, not inside. Okay, so this is living on, what it is doing, so it is sucking on to the blood. Okay, so this is sucking blood, that means it is taking a nourishment from living organisms. So it will go bite a human, that means it is taking a nourishment. Okay, so this is taking a nourishment, so I'll just put it in bracket. Okay, so that is from whom? So from a human. Okay, so the living, or basically the study of parasites, when we mention organisms that live on or inside other organisms. So now this is living on, so there are certain organisms, so let's say plasmodium and all, so they are living inside. Okay, so they live inside the human body, and they go on multiplying. Now pathology, study of diseases of plants and animals. So now what is this? Any of you, any idea what exactly is this one? The one which I have shown, this part and this part and this part. So anyway, this okay, so this part is basically DNA or a gene which gets transferred from one generation to the other generation. And there are similarities that we can find with the parents. Okay, so now pathologies, this one is a bacillus bacteria. Okay, so this is a bacillus. So depending on how they are arranged, so bacilli also can be called. So now study of diseases of plants and animals. Okay, so that a detailed study will be done. So which type of organism is causing a disease in animal, which type of organism is causing a disease in plant, so all that will be studied. So that we call as a pathology. Okay, so let's have a look at the other one second. Okay, so then there is immunology. So you can see here, so if your immune system is strong, so you can stop any of the virus that is entering. Okay, so not stop in the sense you cannot stop it from outside, but your WBCs what are there, so they can stop if you are consuming a proper diet, a healthy diet. Okay, so healthy diet is too essential for one to have a healthy lifestyle, so that they can avoid, because as soon as any bacteria or a virus enters, so your WBCs are going to phagocytose them, so they'll diapedous, and they'll phagocytose, and that is how the digestion of unwanted, or we can say the foreign particles are done. Okay, that is by a WBC. So now science that deals with the phenomenon and causes of immunity, so resistance, so whether you have a resistance, so now this one is a resistance. Okay, and defense, so there can be resistance, or there can be defense, so any of these can occur. So now resistance, when we mention, it is entering and you are not falling sick. Defense is in the first place, again the same thing. So in the first place itself, body is so sure that this is a foreign object, and immediately it will kill, so that is a defense. Okay, so now eugenics, so what exactly is eugenics? So it is a science which aims to improve the human race through the controlled heredity. So that is mainly a marriage is allowed only between the healthy individuals. Okay, so now if an unhealthy individual is there, so there is a chance that they can continue their the same disease to the next generation. So it is always made sure that healthy individuals will get married, so they can give rise to a healthy child. So whatever next generation will be there, so that will also be healthy. So if a diseased one is there, okay, so let's say Down syndrome or any of this syndrome, so it will be carried, because these are genetic disorders. Okay, so it will be carried to the next generation also, and human race is gonna change. So that is why discouraging a marriage that is likely to show unfavorable or harmful characters in children, so that is to be done. So that is the eugenics. Now biochemistry, so you can see a DNA here. Okay, so what it is made up of, that is study of chemicals and reaction that take place inside the living organism, so that is a bio. Okay, so bio is living, chemistry is basically what all changes are occurring in an organism, so that is the biochemistry. So one of its numerous application is DNA fingerprinting. Okay, so in DNA fingerprinting this can be used. All right, okay, so let's have a look at this. One second. Yes, so who was the father of botany? Anybody has any idea? Who is father of botany? So father of botany, and then study of animals is called what? Then herpetology is study of birds, so whether it is true or false. So I'll just give this one. So father of botany, father of the biology, who do we call a father of biology? It is Aristotle. So now father of botany, it is Theophrastus. Study of animals is zoology. Okay, and herpetology is study of birds, so it is false, because herpetology is study of snakes and lizards. study of birds is which one? So study of birds is ornithology. Okay, so study of bird is called as ornithology. Herpetology is study of snakes and lizards, so this is false. Okay, so same way this one also study of animals, here zoology is given. For plant it is botany. Okay, so for pathogen, any microorganisms that you study, okay, so smaller ones, so these microorganisms are microbiology. When you study a human, so that is a human biology. Now one more thing, so for father of botany is Theophrastus. They can also ask who is this person, so he is father of medicine. Okay, so he is father of medicine. Alright, and there is one more, Aristotle, so father of biology. So Aristotle is father of biology. Okay, so Theophrastus is father of botany. Okay, so he was a student of Aristotle itself. Alright, so mycology is the study of fungi. So whether this is true or false. So mycology is study of fungi itself. So that is, it is true. Okay. So myco, whenever you hear, so it is related to mucor, or maybe we can say a fungus itself. Okay, so before I end this session, let me just say about this. So there is a guardians batch. So this batch has already started on 6th of April, but still you can take a subscription even now, because this is just the start of the batch. Okay, so you can watch the recordings that are available, and if you are planning to take the subscription, you can go for the referral code VANI. So with this referral code you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. So let's say you are subscribing for ICSE class 9, so you will be getting subscription for ICSE class 10 to 12 subscription absolutely free. Now introducing community also, so never miss on any update from your favorite educator. So get session notes and practice material, share your feedback directly with the educator via poll. Okay, so check out the link to the educator community below. So this is, you can find the link of my community there. Okay, so now Bucks Bounty, so this is opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. Okay, and be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. Report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. So how you can watch my special classes? So you can download the Unacademy Learner app and open the app and click on get started, then enter your mobile number and OTP and sign up using your email ID. Okay, so then also you can select the classes, that is class 6 to 12. Then you can select your category, so that is basically ICSE, and then class 9, 10 you can select based on which class you are studying in. Then you can choose the preferred language like English, Hindi or English. So once you do that, go to the description of this video, you will find this link. So click on that, you can follow all this step, because you might not be having an Academy app. So only in that case what will happen, so basically all these steps you can carry out. Okay, so now click on notify me and you will get notified 10 minutes before the class begins. Also you can use my code VANI to get 10% discount on the subscription, and also you can use this code to unlock many free products that are there on Unacademy. Okay, so this is the VANI. And yes, there was one more thing, so there we are conducting a orientation session also. Okay, so orientation for class 9 as well as class 10. So basically gift vouchers are given for those who come on top, like top 3. So you can take a participation in that. So it is the orientation session, so it's starting from today, that is 11th, and it is still 17th. So all the subject orientation for class 9 as well as for class 10 you can take. Okay, so see you all in the next session. Thank you. Click on bell icon to get notified about the classes. Okay, subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy, ICSE and ISC boards. Like and share the video and download the app now. So this PDF anyway I'll send it on my Telegram. Okay, so you can search Telegram link. On Telegram you can search Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology. So you will find it. Then I'll be sending it there. Okay, so see you all in the next session. Bye bye everyone. Thank you so much.